Hey, how is everyone doing tonight? It's Valentine's Day and I'm still here reading. It's kind of a crazy holiday. It's so commercialized. And I went to the local grocery store to pick something up for dinner and I was like, whoa, like everybody there was buying flowers and candy. It was so funny. And I just thought, wow, is everyone really doing this out of love? Or is it something people do because they feel like, oh, I have to be like everyone else in society, or is it obligation, or is it really truly that many people in a huge store are that in love? And I mean, I like to hope it's the last thing, because that's what I want for people, is to feel a deep love for one another. And it's cool if that's the case. And I really, really have hope and, desire to, I don't know, just think that that really is the case, that there are a lot of people that really do love one another. And so I think that's pretty cool. But anyway, so happy Valentine's Day. And today I'm on page 71 at the bottom. 30 years later in India, I am finally ready to see my home under a house on Russell Street, ashamed that this is what I came from. I avoided seeing it before. This time, I want to see where we lived. I want to see Russell Street, I tell Mommy. Russell Street, I show you. You were sweet baby there, she replies. She happily meets me at the hotel and is ready to give me the tour of my old neighborhood and home. We jump in a yellow diesel cab and ride into the heart of the city. I envision the leaking ceiling in the dark apartment that was, quote, under Rabia's house, end quote. Looking out the window, my nerves unravel as it sounds like we are nearing the correct street. Where are the homeless people all over the streets? The hungry eyes flooding the sidewalks, the beggars. Mummy gestures to the left. Russell Street, here, she says to the cabbie. I am braced for horrific conditions that may unnerve me, that may flood my eyes with sadness, and that may make my gut wrench. Mummy points to the white high-rise building. The tobacco company, she says. She points to the side of the wide street and gestures again more aggressively to the cabbie to pull over. Metal gates still stand from the last 3 decades. The street looks smaller than when I ran barefoot on these sidewalks. The gates are open as we walk through the narrow little street to the apartment building at 4 Russell Street. The building is a bit run down because it is now used only for commercial use rather than home dwellings. My mother's young man friend Kane comes with us and translates. You used to live here in this apartment, he speaks. This one here? I reply. Yes, and you would run up and down these stairs, Kane continued. God, it is exactly how I remember it. Small, dark, and downstairs from Rabia. This was a trip, going back to the neighborhood that I was living in until I was 4. And I had a lot of memories in that neighborhood. But it was just a trip to go back there and see the building and have sort of like flashbacks of me running up and down these stairs, and the kind of the room really that we had as a child that I was living in and what it looked like. And it was just a dark hole like I remembered. And it's funny because as I was writing this book, I wanted to be as truthful as I could. And so when I went back, I really had to see some of these places and ask a lot of questions because I didn't know if I truly remembered it correctly, or if it was all a figment of my imagination, or I had made it different than it was, or changed it, or whatever. And so I had to see it for myself. And really, it was basically what I thought it was. It was just exactly pretty much how I remember. So it was really empowering to go back and see that, you know, my memories were pretty accurate. It wasn't like the memories had changed or faded or whatever, but it was pretty accurate and right on. And, you know, it's always an interesting experience going back to your past like this, and to see, you know, when you were little, like what kind of environment you were living in. And for me to see the environment that I was living in and to really kind of be legitimized as for my memories, it was very interesting and actually really healing, because I needed to know that this was truth and not something made up in my mind, you know? When you live a really disjointed life like I did, sometimes you sort of question your own ability to remember things correctly. You wonder if you make things up or if you exaggerate things in your mind or whatever. And that was something that was really important to me, to know the truth, and to not, you know, make up things and write about something that I didn't know if it was exactly how I remembered it. So, you know, I think it's always good to go back and look at where you come from so you can see how far you've come, and to be in that same place as a little child that I ran around and with no shoes and really no food and hungry and parents that weren't around much. And it was such a formative time of my life. It was a really special thing to do, and to sort of connect with who I was as a child, and to see that I learned a lot of strength, and I learned a lot of courageousness as I lived there, just because of the situations that I was in there and what I endured as a child that was starving and kind of neglected by my parents. So it kind of, you know, makes you realize, you know, this is what I came from, but it also made me who I am. And it makes me really, really appreciate how far my life has come. And not that I did it all, but, you know, that a life can really change from horrible, horrible circumstances to a lot better circumstances. So anyway, that's all I have to say tonight. And I hope that your day is full of feeling love for yourself, for others, and that you feel the love that other people have for you also. And I think that's all I have to say. So thank you again. I appreciate you. And I hope you feel the love from me for your support and your all your messages and everything that you guys constantly give me. I really do appreciate it. Thank you.